Howdy, Badfobar here. Thank you for viewing my video. This is something I've put together for people who don't really have very much money or very much time, and a power outage happens, or a long power outage happens. Now, if you have kids or something, it's rough and hard to see them suffer, but some simple things might simplify this. Simple tea candle. That old tea candle could be converted into something useful, kept in a drawer, and later on tossed out if you've never needed it, but you've never really spent any money on it. You can turn it into all sorts of any kind of a metal container or a container that can be flammable. It can be used for making lanterns or lamps, but like that pop can, that was an old stove I built. It didn't work out. The second one did. It turns out to be a capillary stove, but if you take that, it wouldn't matter which kind of stove it is. It's an old can. It has an open top. I can put oil in it. I can put wick on it. I can turn it over. I could put a candle in it. I can use the dish to put grease and stuff and make a little, well, lantern or something. This is a lantern I made out of a pop can. Now this is an improvement on the Zen candle lantern, which is pretty good, but I didn't like it because it was too weak. So what I did is I took it and instead of cutting the can out, I just took to make a door panel and wrapped it around and on both sides. Well, I can do it on one side, it's easier on one side, but two sides and around it makes like a little pillar. Sort of flatten it out, have a little oval inside there, just a little bit of a spread, so this way it takes the load, and you can put a couple cups of water or something, or a whole can of stew on top of that, and it doesn't even buckle. But that was the instructions are going to be included. Now the top here is good because it shows that you don't really have to do very much, and you just can hook it up to a string or a hook or something, and it will isolate itself from the heat because of the pop can tab. These lanterns are really easy to make, and a little tape. I would just use some duct tape or something super tacky, and maybe even aluminum tape if that you have some of that aluminum duct tape that they use for doing ducks for real life. That would be alright too. But I just use masking tape on this one and some old pieces of wire. But if I didn't have the drill, I would have used the tape anyways. The pillars themselves are nice and simple. I like the way if you fold out the edges so that it makes like a track, it can do this. Now, if you go to the dollar store, you can also pick up some tea lanterns of different kinds. You know, they have them decorative ones all over the place, and this is a cheap one I got. I got it with the glass, but the glass broke. So I just made a Mylar one because I happen to have some sheets of Mylar around, and some Scotch tape, and it's good enough emergency candle. It loads from the bottom, just as good as the replacement. But the other one I can cook on top of. I can put food on top of. I can melt water. I can heat this. This one cannot. But if you put this in, like with the candle and the matches right in there, the batteries don't go dead on the matches, so you just can light them up. As long as they don't get wet, I guess. Now, just having a tea candle, but you know, tea candles come in 3, 4, and 8-hour varieties, so depends on what you want. But the nice thing about the pop can is you don't have to spend any money. You just buy the candles, tea candles, and you can throw it away anytime you want. If you do something happens to it or you get rid of it, it doesn't matter. Plus, it's small, and you can put the matches inside of it. You just can have a door, like I put in the description. But I put a track in there, so it works out better for me. And I just use Mylar again. Didn't have to be any kind of plastic. Now, you gotta remember that a can of stew or beans or something like that, pre-cooked foods, if you have one of these candle lanterns, you can put it underneath and it will warm it up because the heat will rise actually over the can. It will take a little while, but after the can is done, I open this can with a side cutter, one of those safety can openers. And now it can be turned into a pot, a stove, an oven. I can use it any number of ways I want. They're plentiful, they're easy to get, they're garbage basically, or recycling, but this is very handy. Just like that metal tea candle. I mean, you have that. What can you do with that little tea candle? Well, a little tea candle, I made an open alcohol stove and another penny pressure stove. Thing shoots out 2 to 4 inch flames straight out, and the penny goes in the middle. Takes half an ounce of alcohol, 6. It'll boil water in about 5 minutes. Cup of water, cup. I have a 16-ounce cup or something. I mostly fill, but and it does it fairly decent. But even warm, it's still better than nothing. I mean, this is a real stove. You can put it inside of a can and do that. This is a Kulik style thing I tried. Or you just basically take a wick and put it up at the edge of a can. I'd use wax, but I think I'd use grease or oil or something. Probably oil would be better. Now, if you take any old container, I just use an old thing. I thought I would be able to close it up with the lid and it would shut it off. The only thing is these are not. You got to make sure it doesn't leak. It's waterproof, right? So it doesn't. The wax can't leak out. But then you just use any wick you want. I just put a toilet paper tube, sliced it up down the middle, and then open it up some because it allows air to get in the middle. Because if you just put a toilet paper tube, it gets dark. It burns really a lot more sooty, and a little extra air in there don't hurt, you know. But you can use any kind of thing for a wick, really. I use metal wicks actually, but for my other stuff. This is one I made out of a candy tin. It was simple. You could do this with yourself for yours, and you don't have to have the heat sink that's in the middle there. But you can throw one in if you want to make one, if you plan ahead. That's sort of one of the nice things about planning ahead. Now, you can put any kind of fuel, like gel, alcohol fuel and stuff like that. And you can also use it to start fires and things like that. You can put a wick on that. You can put oil in it instead of alcohol. Run a wick, and you have a candle. Wax could be an issue, but if you want to put wax in, you could. You could use basically, it's just a container. Now, that's the nice thing about it. This has a nice setup. This is what I put together for some things that for preparing for the house. Like a little bit of planning. I have a pot there with a lid. I can cook food in it. I can boil water. I can heat things up. I can use the top as a griddle. I can put that on top of the stove and it won't collapse because it's been reinforced by the spinning metal. Now, you can also put a pot can, by taking a can opener to the top of the can, you can turn that into a pot and mug or cup. You can also use a big can as a mug. But the nice thing is you can do that, and you can put that on top and hold it there. Now, I don't know, I'd wrap some fiberglass tape, that fiberglass tape used for drywalling around it, and or something to pick it up. But that'll be good. Well, like, you can put a whole can. Like, I mean, you can get tall cans that fit right on there onto this candle lantern. Thank you. This has been Bad Fobar. I appreciate you watching this video. This is the lantern in detail, and the door, well, I just put Scotch tape on one side because I had 2 grooves there that slid into. So if you tape one side, it can hinge, and if you don't tape it, it just slides back and forth and slides up. No big deal. Now the tea candle, of course, can't get it out, but once you start it, you're just going to blow it out anyway. So, but that'll heat your food, melt your water, ice, stuff like that. I mean, when you can use it for light, it's just spectacular. Hope you have a great day.